Well, look what's getting a new season. We have had many anime over the years with gigantic, disproportionate men fighting each other, and the more they fight, the more their veins grow to show their testosterone knows no bounds. Almost as much testosterone as I had going on the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Many people say that anime caters to the male fantasy, and to an extent, it is true. I mean, come on guys, hands up. What man wouldn't want to look like this, my god? We need more shows with female fighters. There's only so many anime David Goggins I can handle. Kengan is a really interesting story because it incorporates the sheer madness you get from something like Baki, but then blends it with a surprisingly sophisticated piece of world building. That's not to say Baki isn't sophisticated. I mean, come on, they play with laws of science all the time. A lot of people would consider Baki to be the foundation of Kengan, so swings and roundabouts. Some prefer Baki, some prefer Kengan. What do I say?
¿Por qué no las dos?
Never judge things by face value in the visual art, not even if they have a million veins popping out of their skull just waiting to explode, because, believe me, that's what you're gonna get. Feel free to subscribe, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and it would mean the world. Anyways, enjoy the video. Maybe you've seen the anime advertised on Netflix, maybe you've seen the new trailer, maybe you knew of the series and have just never indulged, maybe you've seen all of these including the manga and you're just here for the vibes. Well, the premise of the story is simple. Huge companies have decisions to make. They want more land, they want an extra building, they want to make huge competitive trade deals. Instead of letting councils and committees decide like we do in the real world, that's kind of boring, right? Well, some absolute genius said, why don't we get roided out fighters to make the decisions for us? And that, my friends, is Kengan. One of the best aspects you have in this story is having a bunch of crazy fighters representing their respective companies. It results in a lot of conflict from all parties. It's like with Eddie Hearn, he's a big boxing promoter.
Fury this week.
Yeah, he told me, he said that I could suck his nuts one by one. Really into hairy nuts or nuts at all.
It's like when he took Anthony Joshua under his belt. These fighters are treated like golden boys until they're not. And when they're not, is when they start to lose. AJ is on his comeback though, so fair play. That's the underlying motivation of these characters, alongside money and some other weird fantasies. Now, this being said, the anime does not flesh out the characters as much as the manga does, and I feel like this goes with a lot of audiovisual media, not just with anime. Sometimes you have the original material, which has a lot of information and context, and it is genuinely difficult to translate that information over into a new art form. And what I can also say is just bear with Yamashita. Sometimes you get a series with that one character who you kinda just wanna, you know, just shut up. Similar situation to Zenitsu in Demon Slayer. Some people like characters like this, some people don't. It's like Marmite. But to be fair, at least Yamashita makes some pretty over-the-top expressions, and we do love those. You might have noticed by now that this show has a lot more emphasis on that 3D anime art style, which to me is always a hit or a miss. It's really hard to transfer something that probably should look two-dimensional, since all we've got to work from the original manga written by Yabako Sandrovich and illustrated by Daromeon. It's very good. That's my professional review of that. But the question is, does the 3D art style work? Well, for this, honestly, I'd say it does. That might be a hot take. 2D animation is incredible in its own right for elevating sequences and stylizing something which might have otherwise looked a bit stale. Old school Naruto is a good example of this with its Sakuga animation, as is Avatar, you know, SpongeBob. But similarly to the updated Baki anime, these added elements make the fights feel weightier. It's all about the admiration of certain techniques used in mixed martial arts, and using what are essentially human rigs to demonstrate these techniques is really cool to see from a combat sports perspective. It's not to say this can't be done in 2D, it absolutely can, and a lot of things are just way better off in 2D. You only have to look at the Berserk remake. I mean, why was this done? The art style may be the main issue for people. The likely cause might stem from it not being a true representation of the manga, as opposed to it being bad on a technical level, which is completely understandable. It doesn't look like this, and you know, some people might not like it because it's just not that generic in terms of what we'd expect anime to look like. I feel like this style is warranted and was actually executed well enough to not be a massive issue. 3D anime is an acquired taste, but I would rather watch one which uses it to its advantage, and to a decent extent, this does. If you want to see a really good use of 3D though, just watch Land of the Lustrous. So you might be wondering, okay, the art style is an acquired taste, the characters are eccentric, and there's some whack fight scenes. Jake, I can find this anywhere. You're not selling this to me. Well, I'm about to use my customer service skills, baby. Kengan doesn't want to come across as smart on the surface. It's like that Scorsese quote, it's basically a theme park, except when you delve into the story, there's actual substance, especially in the manga, which, again, I highly recommend. In this fantastical martial arts journey, and yes, it is fantastical, much like Baki, it kind of wants to act grounded until it doesn't. There's so much detail within the fight scenes and the characters, it really becomes clear that Yabako wants to actually teach you things, and what better way to learn than from an avid martial artist? When I think of Kengan, I always want to tie it to Yabako's other manga, How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, which is just amazing. I mentioned earlier about featuring more female protagonists, and this is a great choice. Seriously, to anyone interested in the gym or just beginning to work out and develop themselves, I highly recommend reading this. The anime is great too, and it explains strength and conditioning in a way which is simple on the surface, but is actually a smartly condensed record of everything Yabako has picked up in his own fitness journey. On first glance, Kengan may look like a generic fighting show, and to a certain extent it is, but when you sink your teeth into it, you actually realise it's a playground where Yabako can utilise everything he's learned and apply it to a wide range of characters who are literally just there as vessels for each aspect of MMA he wants to teach you. Yes, it is kind of over the top, and yes, slightly fantastical, and if you were looking for something maybe more grounded, check out Holy Land. It's actually really sweet and kind of alluring, knowing that what you're watching is a visualization of a martial artist's mind who has gone out of their way to create a fictional world full of muscular men. Now, I might be wrong, but I think he has a type.